You can't become a legendary developer by just getting legendary gear.
This can't be opened yet.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Blizzard games. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we'll be looking at every game made by Blizzard Entertainment, from their humble beginnings to their groundbreaking achievements.
Experience tranquility.
Number 10, Hearthstone.
Are you my master?
Fighting through mobs, raiding dungeons, and taking down evil rulers can be tough work. Even the bravest of heroes and villains need time to unwind. Enter Hearthstone, a game where heroes and villains from all over Azeroth come together to play cards.
Who dares defy this ancient land?
Featuring legendary warriors as players clash, each deck has a unique set of playstyles to accompany them. The rules are basic though. Reduce your opponent's life to 0 before your own. A simple game that still manages to boast the level of depth and competitiveness of TCGs like Magic the Gathering. Hearthstone continues to live on through new game modes, cards, and a lot more. Number 9, Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. "12 years. 12 long, agonizing years it had been since Diablo had last seen the hellish light of day. Longtime fans were hyped to get their hands on Diablo 3 and play it, and they couldn't wait. Despite great sales, Diablo 3 unfortunately seemed to falter a bit, losing large player counts and having just average content. When the game seemed all but lost though, the Reaper of Souls expansion swept in, fixing much of the launch problems, balancing the game, adding proper endgame content, and refocusing to bring free content in the future.
No one can stop death.
Despite having a rocky start, Diablo 3 has managed to join the ranks of Blizzard's other elite titles, and should keep the souls of the damned at bay just for a bit longer. Number 8, Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos.
What are you doing, my son?
Succeeding you, father.
The last entry in the OG Warcraft series, Warcraft 3 brought an immense amount of story to Azeroth, from the Orcs and Tauren forming what soon would be the Horde, to the Alliance losing valiant heroes like Arthas to the Scourge. The world of Azeroth was being set up for something great.
I still feel no remorse, no shame, no pity.
While the gameplay didn't change too much from the last entries in the series, Warcraft 3 was still quite refined, and offered up just enough new content in the form of new playable races, a hero system, and an updated graphics engine to keep players happy. It also served as the base for what would eventually become one of the biggest games in the world, but we'll get to that later.
The cult is nearly assembled.
Number 7, Starcraft 2.
Hell, it's about time.
Unless it involves some kind of expansion, Blizzard seems to have a bad habit of taking forever to release sequels to their games. Roughly 12 years since the last Starcraft, and 8 years since Warcraft 3, RTS fans were clamoring for another Blizzard strategy game. With a gorgeous new engine to show off that Space Marine glimmer, Starcraft 2 was a hit. Despite taking 5 years to finish the campaign, oh my god.
We can earn ourselves a fortune working for Mobius while this whole thing blows over.
This game not only still has a huge place in the competitive gaming scene 7 years on, but has seen a huge surge in community support, in part thanks to mods.
Affirmative.
Number 6, Overwatch.
We are Overwatch.
A MOBA, an MMO, a card game, a real-time strategy game, Blizzard has nearly all the competitive markets cornered. All they needed was a first-person shooter. Well, with Overwatch, it seemed like Blizzard's near unstoppable company was just getting stronger. Combining elements of classic shooters like Team Fortress and Quake with those of modern shooters, Overwatch is a game for any shooter fan. Picking the right character for the right situation is paramount, even if that means you have to be Mercy once again, because teamwork is always a key factor to victory.
Keep it moving.
With Blizzard's regular free updates for new heroes, balancing, seasons, cosmetic items, maps, and so much more, Overwatch is a welcome addition to Blizzard's roster. Number 5, Diablo. Portals to hell have opened, unleashing demons and monsters upon the earth. A much darker fantasy compared to that of Warcraft. Diablo showed us what terror was, and then let us smack it with a sword. One of the first games to be labeled a hack and slash or action RPG, Diablo helped create a new subgenre to the growing popularity of RPGs, with real-time combat and hordes of enemies to fend off. It provided much more intense action gameplay to the normally slow and strategic RPG genre. Not to mention that it was the first game to utilize Blizzard's Battle.net online service. Ever the trendsetters, those Blizzard guys. Number 4, Warcraft 2: Tides of Darkness. A sequel to the game that helped establish Blizzard's popularity, Warcraft 2 managed to not only help the company rise to power, but helped blend storytelling and gameplay into RTS games. Where Warcraft was very cut and dry with its story, the sequel created a much more in-depth narrative, which would soon become a staple of their series.
Mankind stands at the shores of destiny and awaits the coming of the Tides of Darkness.
While not a huge overhaul in the gameplay department, Warcraft 2 also benefited greatly from a later expansion that included Battle.net support. So, while you might not have Warcraft 2 to thank for gameplay, it is thanks to its deeper narrative that the world of Azeroth could be expanded further. Number 3, Starcraft.
Jacked up and good to go.
With Warcraft winning the hearts of many and heroes kicking demonic butt in hell, Blizzard decided to take a more sci-fi approach for their next game. Utilizing their already acclaimed RTS development skills, Blizzard dove headlong into the genre to create a brand new game, and thus Starcraft was born.
Coordinates received.
Starcraft would not only be a beloved title, but it would soon take Warcraft's real-time strategy crown, boasting faster-paced gameplay than Warcraft and 3 playable asymmetric factions instead of just 2. Starcraft helped to revolutionize strategy games as we know it. Plus, with Starcraft getting the remaster treatment soon, now is as good a time as ever to jump into the series if you've never tried it. Number 2, Diablo 2. Hailed from heaven and hell as one of Blizzard's greatest games of all time, Diablo 2 not only proved to be a true sequel, but an overall fantastic game. Diablo 2 provided new classes, new story, and a much, much deeper campaign. On top of that, it managed to revamp many mechanics and features, introducing new tiers to gear, difficulty settings, and even a PvP mode. While it might be a bit dated by today's standards, fans of the series still play it today. Still receiving support from Blizzard, Diablo 2 has stood the test of time, thanks also in part to the series' introduction to online multiplayer support. Before we open the last chest, here are a few honorable mentions.
Work completed, my liege.
Number 1, World of Warcraft. As if we couldn't choose this one, World of Warcraft has come a very long way as an MMO. Taking the crown as MMO king, it has seen the most concurrent subscribers of any MMO in history. Nearly 13 years old, World of Warcraft has outlasted most of its competitors, blowing them straight out of the water. You know a game has achieved legendary status when even those who haven't heard of Blizzard or aren't gamers know what you're talking about when you say World of Warcraft.
Times change.
It's had its lows in the past years, but millions of fans still remain faithful. Whether you're Alliance or Horde, you can agree that Blizzard is number 1 for keeping Azeroth alive for so long.
For Azeroth!
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.